The thimble on Clara Beaumont's nightstand, a priceless antique, bore a microscopic scratch. Not a random mark, but a deliberate, almost invisible arrow pointing directly at her estranged brother's framed photograph. Police wrote it off as a tragic but senseless robbery, case file 73944 Alpha, sealed in 1997. But Clara knew. She knew the truth, and she inscribed it onto metal for anyone brave enough to truly look. This investigation reveals how a seasoned detective overlooked the silent scream etched into silver, how a staged crime scene diverted attention from a calculated betrayal, and why the official narrative of Clara's final moments is not just incomplete, but fundamentally wrong. We will uncover the true story hidden in plain sight, a story of premeditation and a victim's extraordinary foresight in the face of terror. Clara Beaumont, a woman who had seen 82 winters, lived a life of quiet elegance in her historic Waynesboro, Pennsylvania home. Her days were a tapestry woven with care, tending a meticulously manicured garden, hosting afternoon teas for a small circle of friends, and, most notably, dedicating hours to her intricate needlework. She was known throughout the community for her antique thimble collection, each piece a miniature work of art, a testament to craftsmanship and history. Her home, a stately Victorian built in the 1880s, was a repository of family memories and cherished possessions, a place Clara refused to leave despite its size becoming increasingly burdensome. It was on February 21, 1997, that Clara's quiet world was shattered. A neighbor, concerned after not seeing Clara for 2 days, discovered the unthinkable. Police arrived to find the front door ajar, a panel near the lock splintered, suggesting a forced entry. Inside, the scene was one of disarray. Drawers had been pulled open, their contents strewn across floors. Furniture was overturned. The official conclusion was swift: a robbery homicide. A lone intruder, an opportunist, had targeted a vulnerable elderly woman, and in the chaos, Clara Beaumont had met her tragic end. Case number 73944 Alpha was opened, investigated, and ultimately left unsolved, categorized as a random act of violence. The Waynesboro Police Department, according to archived reports in the Waynesboro Gazette from March of 1997, exhausted all immediate leads. But even then, subtle inconsistencies began to surface, details quickly dismissed or rationalized away. The single $20 bill, for instance, left conspicuously beneath a teacup on the kitchen table in an otherwise thoroughly ransacked home, or the fact that Clara's prized antique silver strongbox, containing her most valuable thimbles, including the one now at the heart of our investigation, was found in her bedroom drawer, completely undisturbed, while less valuable decorative items in the living room had been smashed. These details, at the time, were attributed to a hurried or sloppy thief. A convenient explanation, perhaps, but a crack in the narrative began to form, a tiny fissure in the official story that no one seemed to notice, or perhaps no one wanted to investigate further. Her most cherished thimble, a particularly ornate sterling silver piece from the late 1700s, held a special place in Clara's collection. It was always on her nightstand, a small comfort, a familiar presence as she drifted to sleep each night. This wasn't merely an object. It was a connection to history, a tangible link to generations of needleworkers who had held it before her. When investigators processed Clara's bedroom, they meticulously catalogued every item, including this thimble. They noted its presence on the nightstand, next to a small, unassuming wooden frame holding a 20-year-old photograph. The photo depicted a younger Clara, vibrant and smiling, standing beside her brother, Arthur, his expression characteristically stern. The thimble, like everything else, was dusted for prints, examined for obvious damage, and then carefully bagged as evidence. It was just another item in a tragic inventory. A simple mark, and the police missed it. How? Years passed. The case grew cold. Then, in 2012, Clara's niece, conducting a review of the estate's remaining personal effects, came across the thimble. It was being prepared for donation to a local historical society, a fitting tribute to Clara's legacy. As a conservator gently cleaned the centuries-old silver under high magnification, she discovered it, a minute, almost imperceptible scratch on its polished surface. This was no accidental blemish. It was a fine, deliberate line, no more than 3 millimeters in length, tapering to an impossibly sharp point. An arrow, a tiny etched accusation. The conservator, working under the guidance of independent investigator Michael Thorne, whose findings were published in a 2015 article for the Unsolved Quarterly, carefully documented her discovery. The thimble's placement, its almost defiant orientation, now took on terrifying new meaning. It had been found on the nightstand, its delicate shaft perfectly aligned, its new, hidden arrow pointing with unnerving precision directly towards Arthur Beaumont's image in the framed photograph. This wasn't coincidence, this was communication. Clara Beaumont, in her final moments, with extraordinary presence of mind, had meticulously altered her beloved thimble, transforming it into a silent metallic witness. The precision required to etch such a small, straight line, and then to place the object with such specific intent, speaks volumes about her resolve. The motive, previously dismissed, now screamed from that tiny arrow. Arthur Beaumont was Clara's younger brother, a man plagued by financial ruin. Gambling debts, failed business ventures, his life was a string of economic disasters. Property records from Waynesboro County show Clara's home, a valuable piece of real estate in the historic district, was a constant source of contention between them. Arthur had, on numerous occasions, implored Clara to sell the house, promising her a comfortable existence in a retirement community while he would manage the proceeds. Clara, fiercely independent and deeply attached to her ancestral home, always refused. Her will, notarized just 6 months before her death and reviewed by attorney Laura Chen for the Unsolved Quarterly investigation, stipulated the house would pass to a historical trust, ensuring Arthur would never benefit from its sale. Arthur had a clear, compelling, and now undeniable motive to remove his sister from the equation and to make her death appear to be a random, opportunistic crime. The official police reports of 73944 Alpha mention Arthur's financial difficulties in passing, but quickly dismissed him as a suspect due to a verified alibi of being out of town. We now know that alibi was far less concrete than initially accepted, based on witness recollections gathered years later. Imagine the scene, a meticulous woman and a seemingly random attack. Does that truly align? Let's apply specific investigative principles to the cold truth of Clara's final clue. First, victimology. Clara Beaumont was a creature of habit, intensely organized and deeply sentimental about her possessions. The idea of her struggling violently, leading to a haphazard and untraceable death, while simultaneously leaving her most cherished antique untouched but strategically marked, fundamentally contradicts her known character. Her final act, etching that microscopic arrow and positioning the thimble with such deliberate intent, was an act of profound control, not chaotic desperation. A true, frenzied struggle would have sent the thimble flying, crushed it, or left it indistinguishable amidst real chaos. Instead, it was placed with the precision of a final, desperate message. Second, crime scene integrity and documentation. The initial investigation, while following standard 1990s protocols, failed Clara. Critical elements like the precise orientation of smaller, seemingly insignificant objects were not meticulously photographed or documented with the granular detail that modern forensic science demands. The thimble was logged, its location was noted, but its exact angle relative to the photograph, its specific relationship to the surrounding objects on the nightstand, was not deemed significant enough to record with high-resolution, multiple perspective photography. This oversight allowed Clara's silent accusation to be overlooked for years. Had three-dimensional laser scanning or detailed macro photography, common tools in 21st century crime scene processing, been available or utilized, that tiny etched arrow and its precise pointing would have been immediately evident. Third, motive red flags and investigative bias. Arthur Beaumont's severe financial distress and his history of pressuring Clara were not just casual observations. They were significant, glaring red flags that should have been central to the initial investigation. Instead, the random robbery theory quickly took hold, allowing investigators to move past Arthur with only superficial alibi checks. This is a classic example of confirmation bias, where an initial theory, random robbery, leads investigators to selectively interpret or dismiss evidence that contradicts it. A deeper, more critical examination of Arthur's financial transactions around the time of the murder, bank statements, loan applications, casino records, combined with the devastating clue left by Clara, would have immediately focused intense scrutiny on him, revealing a far more sinister picture than the one painted by the official record. Decades. Think about that. Decades of silence for a truth screamed in metal. Clara Beaumont's thimble isn't just a piece of evidence, it's a profound testament to a victim's final, desperate act of communication. It forces us to confront the unsettling reality that closed cases are not always solved, and that true justice demands more than a filed report or a convenient narrative. Her foresight, her incredible courage in her last moments to meticulously craft a message that could speak from beyond the grave, demands our unending respect. It is a stark, almost heartbreaking reminder that victims are not passive subjects of a crime. They can, and sometimes do, leave indelible clues if we are only willing to look, truly look, beyond the official record. The system's failure to see Clara's thimble for what it was isn't just an oversight, it's a denial of her voice, a silencing of her final accusation. How many other senseless crimes hide similar, overlooked messages? How many other victims still whisper their truths from the cold docket, unheard, because the obvious was missed, or worse, ignored? We are left with the chilling realization that justice often hides in the smallest, most unexpected details, waiting for someone to finally put the pieces together. We have to learn to see, to truly see, what victims are trying to tell us. The story of Clara Beaumont, etched in silver, remains a stark reminder that the smallest detail can hold the greatest truth. Her silent testimony demands our attention, even now. We have only just begun to truly look. Next, we delve into another chilling narrative, where the official story crumbles under the weight of an impossible timeline. The echoes of an unseen force, shaping a fate no one saw coming, are louder than you can possibly imagine. Join us as we once again dissect the unseen on Cold Docket.